Hello and welcome back. Now, last week you talked about temperatures, but how can we know if the final rinse is getting up to 180 degrees in a dishwasher?
It's very simple. Some of them have gauges on them, but you still want to check it. There's all kinds of different thermometers you can purchase. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are battery operated. Some of them are electronic. Some of them have infrared. But I'd prefer, and I've got one here in my hand, the pocket thermometer. They're very inexpensive. If you get them like Cash and Carry or Smart and Final, they're usually, anywhere from maybe $4 to $10. And I would get several and have especially the kitchen staff using them. But the ones I prefer, there's a dial on the top. Let's see if we can get a close-up of these. But it's 0 to 220, which is pretty much everything you need in a care facility. But what you're going to do is leave a glass, well, it'd be upside down, but it'd be upside right actually, in your dishwasher so it fills up with water. And then as soon as the dishwasher's finished, pull it out and you can stick a thermometer in there and see what the temperature that is, the water that's still in the glass. And we want that to be up to 180 degrees. And remember, this thermometer goes up to 220, so you'll get an accurate temperature.
And you would use that in a 3-compartment sink as well?
Yes, and remember you want the water as hard as you can stand it in the first sink in your soap, and that's going to be, again, whatever your allowance is, which is 105 to 120, so it should be in that range. And you can check with the thermometer. The same for the rinse.
Now, I've heard that sometimes you need to calibrate a thermometer. How do you do that?
Yeah, sometimes, I think all the time. These are very simple to calibrate, and that's why I like them better than the electronic thermometers, because those you really can't calibrate. Most of the time you got to buy a new one. So most of them you get nowadays, right on the end, it's actually a wrench built into the sleeve, and that's what you're going to use to calibrate it. If you've got an older one, it's a 1/2-inch nut, so you got a 1/2-inch end wrench, you can calibrate it. I have a glass of water here, okay, and I'm going to add ice. And we're going to let that just sit for a few minutes. This is very complicated. You don't really actually need a PhD to get the ice in the water, but you're going to let it sit. Now, all of these thermometers, it's got a little nick in it about right here. And again, hopefully we can get a close-up and show you. But you want that in the middle wherever, if you're taking a temperature of any kind of food or when we're calibrating it. So when it's sitting for a few minutes, stick it in there, and you want it to be 32 degrees. So we're going to stick it in there, and this is at 40 right now. So I'm going to put it in there. You notice I've got a nut. I can turn it, and then I'm going to turn it to 32 degrees. That's it. It's really that uncomplicated. Now, you should have either some bleach water, some water with some bleach in it, or the alcohol swabs, and that way you can sanitize it when you're done calibrating it. I would sanitize these thermometers before and after each use.
Okay. How often should you calibrate the thermometer?
At least weekly, and any time it's dropped. If you have one of your employees drop the thermometer, calibrate it again, but at least calibrate it weekly. These thermometers have a hole in it. You put it through that, and then if you're testing the temperature of something hot, you can hold it over the product, and then you're not going to have to burn yourself. So it's kind of a neat little sleeve they have on here.